Hello, and thank you for joining us. This is No Soundbites Allowed, and I am your host, Michael Voss. Dragon of the Southern Tier, I'm happy to be here with you today. It is February 14th, Valentine's Day, and it's about 12:30 in the afternoon. I wanted to speak to you about inflation. I know, everyone wants to talk about what's happening with their loved ones. There are many people who are concerned about the earthquake in the Middle East. There's a lot of people who are talking about the shooting in Michigan State University. These are all important topics. But at the same time, it's very important to talk about what's going to be happening with inflation, what's going to happen with the money you need to survive. I think it's important because without that, everything else goes to the wayside. If you can't afford to feed your family, you can't afford to feed yourself, then nothing else really matters, at least in our opinion. So we're going to go over that with you and review our predictions that we have made and what's happening currently to see what's going to happen in the future. We hope you'll listen to the entire conversation. Now, first, I should mention, if this is the first time that you're seeing our channel, we want to welcome you. We thank you for being part of our audience. We do long-form political commentary. And of course, every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do a live stream with you. We reach out on all the social media that the internet overlords will allow to hear your voice about every issue that is important to you from anywhere in the world. We listen to your voices through chats and tweets and phone calls live every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to hear your voice because we believe in the First Amendment. We believe in your right to be able to speak about the issues that affect us all. And we hope you will join us this Sunday and every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me address the big issue. The big thing that's been affecting us all is, of course, inflation. I know you hear often from the Biden administration, you hear often from many Democrats talking about unemployment. Yes, that's important too. But inflation affects everyone, whether you have a job or not, whether you have a well-paying job or especially if you don't. Inflation affects everyone, and it's affecting everyone throughout the entire globe. The U.S. is one of the biggest economies in the world, and of course, the cost of goods affect not just the United States, but everyone. So if we are in a recession, if we are having difficulty with our supply lines or affording food, well, that affects everyone else. If you can't pay for the food you need, you can't afford to go to the movies or to have an extra streaming service or to buy goods from China or any other country around the world. And every other economy then suffers as well. This is how big this is, why it's important for everyone. I know it's math to an extent, but this is important because this is your life. And that's why we've been talking about this since January of 2021. And why we have been making predictions since February of 2021, trying to be ahead of what's happening so that you can plan out, so that you can prepare and help your family and yourself to survive this downturn in our economy. A recession, what we have been predicting and stating as fact, is a recession that started in the summer of 2022 and continues to affect everyone in the world. Let me explain why we say that. Let me explain how long this is going to be happening and how it's going to negatively impact you. So, if you doubt us or if you want to check, we've been talking about this, and you can go back to about November of 2022. You can go back even further if you wish, and you will see that we have been updating you. As you have been told repeatedly by the Biden-Harris administration that the economy is great. Things are doing well. We have a healthy economy. This is what we have been told repeatedly. We have a healthy economy, which is a very interesting statement because even if you go to the Biden-Harris administration, if you look in December from the USDA, the Economic Research Service, and you look at their own predictions looking at 2023, looking at January, they have stated very clearly that they are predicting, I want to show you this directly, they are predicting in 2023, prices are predicted to increase for meats, for dairy products, fats and oils, processed fruits and vegetables, sugar and sweets, cereal and bakery products, non-alcoholic beverages, other foods, and of course, eggs. Did you hear that list? Name something that you eat, something that you purchase from the store that doesn't fall into that category. Name anything. Whether you're a vegetarian, whether you are a carnivore, whether you like having healthy foods or organic foods or just regular foods, it doesn't matter. No matter where you fall in your habits of eating, you are affected by this. Fast food, regular home cooking, whatever it is that you do, you are being affected, and you're being told by the United States government prices are going up in 2023. Inflation is going to increase. One of the key and most important parts of inflation, the cost of food, is going higher. As much as Biden and Harris would like to tell you that there is a great economy that's going on, that's just not true. Let me look at, this is from the White House itself, 7 days ago. I want to be very clear about this. This is from the State of the Union 2023. This is from Joe Biden himself. From the White House, I am going to the transcript. And Joe Biden said that he ran for president to fundamentally change things. Now, the question, fundamental change like Obama, change to what? This is an important statement. Change to what? He wants to fundamentally change things into something he doesn't want to tell you. And he goes on to say, to make sure the economy works for everyone so that we all feel pride in what we do. To build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down. Because when the middle class does well, the poor have a ladder up and the wealthy still do very well. We all do well. This is what he says. Going on, he says, let's look at the results. Unemployment rate is 4.3%, a 50-year low, near record low unemployment for Black and Hispanic workers. That has nothing to do with the economy in terms of what's happening to you and me. He leaves out the 70,000 layoffs that happened in January of 2023 alone. He wants to avoid that. But he wants to tell you that unemployment rate is low, so the economy is doing great. Again, just as he had said back in November, he said that it's a healthy economy. Everything is doing great. Okay, he goes on to say in his State of the Union speech 1 week ago, now thanks to all we've done, we're exporting American products and creating American jobs. Inflation has been a global problem because of the pandemic that disrupted supply chains and Putin's war that disrupted energy and food supplies. That is not entirely true. Inflation started, and we will show you, long before Putin started his war, long before the supply chain problems in the United States that we saw in 2022. He is not being truthful to you, and we can prove it. But we're in a better position than any country on earth. That's debatable. But more importantly, he says, we have more to do, but here at home, inflation is coming down. This was 7 days ago. And I believe that Joe Biden timed the State of the Union to make sure that he would be speaking before we had the January inflation numbers, before evidence would be available for the American public to tell him he's a liar. Because Joe Biden is, in fact, a liar. In fact, we talked about it at that time. On February 7th, as we were live tweeting the State of the Union, we happened to say he was talking about the living wage. He made that one-line sentence. And he says, small businesses can't afford a $25 an hour living wage unless you want to have $20 burgers and $75 pizzas. It sounds great, but it's impractical. We mentioned that Joe Biden was talking about the distraction of airline fees when inflation, which is not based on airline fees, nor addresses the food shortage, that Joe Biden was trying to take people away from the real issue affecting their lives. And you can see that for yourself in our tweets. And this is important because this will affect you and your family and your friends, your community, local, state, and federal. It's affecting everyone across the globe. If things are going higher, you need to prepare. You need to say, do I really want to have the Hulu streaming service or the Netflix and the Disney Plus? Do you really need all three? Do you need any of them? Especially when you're getting programs like Velma or Resident Evil or Witcher Origins. When you're getting horrible content meant to be propaganda to program you and your family, do you really need to spend money on that when you know, as stated by the Biden-Harris administration, that you're going to be spending more money, that the price of food is going up? Let me go back to, again, the USDA. Food prices are expected to grow more slowly in 2023 than 2022, but still at above historical average. In 2023, all food prices are predicted to increase 7.1%. That's after the increase we have already seen. That would be about 17%, double-digit inflation. We were already up 10% in 2022, which is higher than 2021. It's higher than we were at 2019. This is an increase. Inflation is taking money out of your pocket just to pay to eat, to stay alive. That's not including the cost of your rent or your mortgage. It's not taking into account of the fact that interest rates are increasing. So you're spending more money on your bills, your credit cards, your college loans, your mortgages. Everything that you spend money on, it's becoming more and more expensive. Because in part, the Biden administration is spending more and more money and does not have a plan, a domestic plan. The plan from the Biden administration, as we were told, was stay the course and everything is okay. Don't pay attention. He's doing a great job. By the way, airline fees are the big thing that you need to worry about. That just doesn't make any sense. Let me look at it from the left. Let's look at what the left has to say about all of this. Now, I'm going to CNBC, and as reported today at 8:30 a.m., inflation rose 0.5% in January, more than expected by almost a point, more inflation than was expected, and is up from 6.4% a year ago. That is misleading. To say that inflation is up 6.4% is misleading. It doesn't sound that bad. It doesn't sound as bad as it could be. But it's much worse than you think. It's much worse than you think. And this is coming from CNBC. Let's actually look at the numbers. You see, when they say inflation is up 6.4%, that's a total over the last 12 months. But when you look at food, it's up 10.1%. That is a huge increase. When we're looking at energy, it's up 8.7% over the last year, an increase in January, even though we were told in December that no, the cost of energy was under control. Everything was fine. No, it's not. We have a 27% increase in fuel oil. You have a 26% increase in your gas at your house and your home. In fact, everything was up except for used cars. That was the only thing that went down because used cars, no one's buying them. Not only is it because it's winter, but because you can't afford any cars, really. And everything else went up. That's not what Joe Biden promised you 7 days ago in the State of the Union. That's not what you were promised 5 months ago when they told you that it's a healthy economy, that we have been told throughout all of 2022, that because the unemployment rate is low, well, everything is fantastic. That is a lie. Let me make it real simple, just in a chart. Don't look at the numbers. Look at the chart itself. And as you can see, this is from the St. Louis Fed. And what you can see is that inflation is at a peak. Now, you can go back to the Obama Great Recession. Remember that? The Great Recession with massive foreclosures and the wonderful summer of recovery by the Obama administration. And you look forward and you see that we have been very steady, about 2.5%, roughly about 2.5% inflation going from about 2011 all the way up to roughly 2020 when we did experience a decrease because, well, we had everything locked down and shut down. And literally, from the moment that Joe Biden took office in January 21st, the day that he took office, we went from 1.5% inflation to now being over 8.1% inflation. That's on average. That's all the Joe Biden economy. This is his plans as a direct result of everything that he has done and everything he was planning to do. Again, I want to show you as best I can, looking at it from 2020 going forward. This is exactly the day that Joe Biden took office. That's the day that he started signing 40 executive orders, shutting down the XL pipeline, increasing the number of troops in Syria, in preparing to abandon Afghanistan and 5,000 Americans in Afghanistan, 10,000 Americans in the Ukraine. These are all the things that he has done. He cut back on leases for oil and gas and made the United States energy dependent instead of independent. This is what we have right now. This is the Biden legacy, the economy. This is the transformation that he promised you in the State of the Union 7 days ago. And as you can see, it's costing you more and more. We have said on this channel that we are facing stagflation, that this is a deep recession. And we have been hearing from many analysts across the world that we are correct, that this is exactly what will happen, that this recession will last into the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025, depending on which analyst you want to pick. Now, the Biden administration will pick people who say, no, everything is fantastic, you just don't understand. And maybe we're picking people who are more extreme. You could say that. It's a pick and choose kind of situation, but one thing you cannot dispute, the price is going up. Even the Biden-Harris administration is telling you that it's going up. The news media isn't emphasizing that. The Biden administration isn't emphasizing that. But the USDA is telling you. They just don't want that to be widespread public news because it's not politically advantageous. See, that's what we're really facing right now. What is profitable for the politics versus what is profitable for you? What's the impact to the political goals of the Democratic Party and the progressives that lead it versus what's actually going to be beneficial to you in your life? Higher food prices, higher energy prices, higher costs for rent and housing, they're not beneficial to you. And yet each and every one of those things are higher and will continue to be higher, going into the double digits for those that aren't, and even higher in the double digits. We have said since February of 2021 that we are expecting inflation of double digits, official inflation of around 15%. And we have said consistently that real world inflation is far higher than that. And we are correct. Just looking at the price of eggs as an example, there is a 380% increase in the price of eggs in 2022 alone. Meat, when you go to the store, 45% more expensive. Lettuce is very hard to find and has had also a 300% increase. These are the things that are affecting you. You don't want to do numbers. I know people hate doing numbers. They hate thinking about the numbers and the math. But it's your life. It's a fact. It's money that is coming out of your pocket. When you do your budget every week, You are feeling this reality. It's the math you do to get through the week, to get through the month. The United States government has no concept of what a budget is. Very much like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Andrew Yang, and Bernie Sanders, they believe that they can just print money forever and it will never have any impact. Well, you're seeing the impact right now. You're seeing the impact in the cost to you. The fact that you can't afford everything you want. Your quality of life is decreasing. What is the answer? Now you may say, well, Mike, what is the answer? Well, the answer in part is, as we've been saying for a long time, with this global food crisis, the reduction of 30% of the amount of food in the world. Go out every time you go to the store. I want you to buy 10% more food. Don't panic, but buy 10% more. More rice, more flour, more canned foods, things that will last a long time, because this isn't ending next month. This is a year-long process. This recession will last until 2025 at least. Buy 10% more. You will save money. We advise you, if you can, try some homesteading. As we've reported before, already the United States government is looking to try and take over community gardens. Fantastic. Grow it on your property, in your home. If you have an apartment, on a windowsill, grow some of those small foods, tomatoes and various herbs, if you can. Even on your windowsill, it will help to save you money. Plan out what you're spending money on. Do you really need Hulu and Netflix and Paramount and Disney Plus? Do you really need all of that? Do you need any of them at all? Try and cost cut where you can. Try and save where you can and plan out to have that extra, because you will need it, because the prices aren't going down. Joe Biden wants you to think the economy is fantastic, it's healthy, and you're just too dumb to know the difference. The reality is, you go to the store, you see your bills, you know we are correct and have been correct for 2 years now. And we expect that we're going to be correct going forward. And I really wish we wouldn't be. I wish we would be incorrect. But you see the numbers and you see the reality. You can look at the State of the Union and you heard Joe Biden lie to your face. He knew that the numbers were going to be higher. He knew inflation is increasing. He knows for a fact that this economy is not healthy, and because he has a lack of domestic policy, he has a lack of international policy, because of the actions he has taken that have made things worse. He knows it's going to get worse. But he has an election to protect. He has Democrats to protect in their next elections, and he has to make things sound great and make you believe that you feel better than you actually are. I can't abide that. I have to be honest with you. Please take our advice. I know there's math, there's charts. Don't throw that out the window if you want to, and look at your monthly bills. Compare your bills today to where they were in 2022, where they were in 2021. Then tell me that the economy is healthy. You know it isn't. We know layoffs are increasing and have been increasing since January and continuing to go forward. Plan for the worst. Plan for double-digit inflation of at least 15%. Plan for an increase in the cost of your credit cards and your mortgages and every loan that you have. Plan for the prices to get worse, not better, and that they're going to stay worse for more than a year. We hope that this will help you. We hope that you've been following our advice for the last 2 years, and therefore you have saved money and you're able to feed your family better, and you're able to live at the quality of life that you want to have. But if you have not, we hope you will listen to us now and continue to prepare. It will help you and the world in the long term. Because the better you are able to save money, the better you are able to maintain your quality of life, the better the world economies do, and the better everyone is able to be. But if you don't, if you just go by what the Biden-Harris administration has to say and believe them that everything is just great, you're going to be worse off well before the end of this year. You're not going to like what's going to happen. But that's what we believe. That's the data as we can find it from the government. What do you think? Do you think that Joe Biden is correct in the State of the Union, that the economy is healthy, that inflation is going down? Or do you think our predictions have been correct for the last 2 years? We look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to share your thoughts on this and everything that is affecting us in our live stream. Thank you, and you be well.